What's up, you guys? I know you've heard the saying, all money is not good money. Well, I wanted to share this story with you because it's so true. Sometimes we get in desperate situations and we don't think, right? And if we're thinking, we're not taking the time to really think. And so we make bad decisions when we're not really paying attention because we're in a desperate situation. So now during the pandemic, there were a lot of different organizations, a lot of different funds and grants and all kinds of stuff that was helping people. But there also were a lot of scams. So yesterday, I get an email, and my friend is telling me that he knows this guy who was an Aryan race leader who went to prison, supposedly had cleaned up his life and was going around teaching, I guess, police departments and stuff like that, information on what kind of tools get made, what kind of weapons get made in the prisons and stuff. And so, he was getting paid to go and talk about this stuff after having been in prison. And again, supposedly have become a good guy. Well, during the pandemic, I don't know if you remember hearing about the EDD scams. So people were claiming to get unemployment. They were scamming. They were scamming the government. So this dude got caught, and now he's been arrested because he was part of that. So unfortunately, he didn't clean up his act well enough. But I share this story because I was almost caught up in that scam. So what had happened was 2020, like I said, there was all kinds of funding. There was a lot of legit programs. I had legit help for rent. I had legit help for my utilities, all of that stuff. And so I was super grateful for what was becoming available. And it seemed to be so many programs. I just didn't really even trip, right? So one day I get a phone call. My friend, she tells me, "Oh, I don't qualify for this program, but you might qualify." So she gives me a number, and I call this lady, and the lady doesn't really tell me much about who she is. She just starts asking me all of these questions. And so I'm thinking she's an official government worker. And I know, you guys, I know I should have known better. You would think that, 2020, I was in my 50s. So I should have had the wisdom, but I didn't. I let my guard down. She's asking me all of these questions. I give her all the answers. She's got all of my information. And then at the end of that call, she says, "All right, well, we should be getting back in touch with you in about 4 weeks to get you your money." Wow. Okay. So I'm excited. I'm happy that there's help coming. And time passes, but at the same time, time is passing, I'm getting nervous because I'm like, I don't know anything about this lady. Who does she work for? Who did I give my information to? Time passes, nothing happens. And so after more and more time passes, I'm like, what's going on? What's happening here? Short story, it turns out that it was unemployment. It was EDD. And I contacted the lady and I was like, "EDD?" I said, I don't get unemployment. I have not received unemployment in years. So I don't think I should be a part of this. And so she tells me something. I said, I'd like to opt out. She says, "You can't opt out. We've already submitted everything." And I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm calling EDD and I'm like, "Hey, has anything been submitted in my name? Because I had nothing to do with it." And they didn't see anything. I mean, I was really trying to drill down and find out where my information went. And they said they didn't have anything. I said, "Well, I'd like to report a situation." So they give me a number. I call that number to tell these people that I don't want anything. I'm not trying to do anything. I gave my information out and I shouldn't have, but here we are. So it was like this black hole. I could never really get to speak to anybody to report what was happening. Weird. But long story shorter, I never got any money, and nor did I ever get in any trouble. But it was a sour taste left in my mouth. I've since, made sure that my credit information is on freeze. All three of my credit reports, I have them frozen and stuff. But I wanted to make sure that, we look out for each other because there are people out here that will scam you. And sometimes, like I said, you get vulnerable and you're thinking, hey, I need this money. So however it comes, I don't care. So in this case, I'm glad that it worked out where I did not get the money, because it was a blessing in disguise. California has recovered over $60 billion worth of fraud money, and they ain't getting nothing from me because I never got anything. But we just have to be vigilant. And so this message I'm sharing, I'm being vulnerable and I'm sharing information that, I'm embarrassed that I did not take the time to find out what company this woman worked for. Who is she really? What's really going on? Time has passed and it's a lesson learned. So I'm sharing my lesson with you. Many of you may not have fallen for that, but there are other things that are out here, and sometimes we just don't realize that we can be scammed. And so, like I said, I'm grateful that I didn't get the money and therefore I'm not in any trouble. But I want you to be careful. Watch out for your fellow person. If somebody tells you, yeah, I just signed up to do this thing, ugh, or if someone's saying, I'm thinking about doing, maybe you do some research with them to make sure that they're not getting scammed. That's it, you guys. I hope that you have a fabulous rest of your day or evening, and come back and visit me another time. Okay, so ciao for now.